Just let go. That phrase sounds simple, almost dismissive. And if you've ever been told that while you were genuinely trying to change something in your life, it probably didn't help at all, because most people hear letting go and translate it as stopping wanting, stopping caring, detaching emotionally, or just pretending it doesn't matter. And none of that actually works. In fact, that misunderstanding is one of the biggest reasons people fall out of the manifesting state without even realizing it. They think they're doing the right thing, but internally, they're creating more resistance. So today, let's take a different approach. We're going to talk about what letting go actually means psychologically and internally, and why misunderstanding it creates more tension instead of more freedom. No spiritual vagueness, no emotional bypassing, just clarity. So now, let's unpack this. Most people think letting go is suppression. They try to ignore desire. They try to numb attachment. They try to convince themselves they don't care. They tell themselves it's fine either way. But the body knows the truth. When you suppress desire, the nervous system doesn't relax. It tightens. It braces. You become hyper vigilant. You're not at peace. You're monitoring yourself. And that inner bracing sends a very clear signal. Something is unresolved. That's why pretending not to want something never works, because the body still wants resolution. Letting go is not emotional shutdown. It's not indifference. And it's definitely not pretending. True letting go does not remove desire. It removes internal conflict. It removes the tug of war between wanting and controlling. Letting go means releasing the need to control how and when something happens. That's it. Desire stays, preference stays, vision stays. What dissolves is the constant monitoring, the checking, the emotional hovering, the subtle, is it working yet? Loop. Psychologically, this shifts you out of anxious anticipation and into neutral expectancy. You're no longer leaning forward emotionally, and that matters, because leaning forward says, this isn't done yet. It says, I'm still waiting. Neutral expectancy says this is already handled. Handled things don't need attention. This is why people often manifest right after they stop obsessing. They didn't give up. They didn't stop wanting. They stopped resisting reality with tension. In other words, they let go. Remember, control is rarely about confidence. Control is fear wearing responsibility. It says, if I don't manage this, it won't happen. If I stop thinking about it, I'll lose it. If I relax, something will go wrong. So, the mind stays alert. The body stays tight. But manifestation does not respond to vigilance. It responds to assumed inevitability. When something feels inevitable, you don't check it. You don't wait on it. You don't emotionally hover over it. You behave normally. And the nervous system loves normal. Normal signals safety. When the body senses safety, it stops resisting. And safety is what allows reality to reorganize. This is why Neville Goddard warned against constantly looking for results. The moment you monitor, you've left the end. Monitoring is a future-oriented behavior. It means you're not living from completion. Letting go is not something you do. It's a state transition. You move from, I need this to happen, to, this is already who I am. There is no emotional spike, no declaration, no dramatic release, just a quiet, internal settling. A sense of, I don't need to touch this anymore. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop rehearsing conversations. You stop preparing explanations. This is why endless visualization and affirmations often backfire. They keep you trying to get into a state instead of resting in it. They keep you efforting towards certainty instead of assuming it. Letting go feels boring, ordinary, undramatic, and that's exactly why it works. Because drama is a sign of unresolved energy. You know you've actually let go when you stop rehearsing outcomes, When you stop preparing for disappointment, when you stop explaining your desire to yourself, not because you forced yourself to stop, but because the urgency left, the body no longer feels like it needs to guard the desire. You still want what you want, but you're no longer emotionally leaning toward it. And that's the signal. Letting go does not mean losing desire. It means losing tension. And tension, not desire, is what delays results. When tension dissolves, the state stabilizes. And when the state stabilizes, reality has no option but to follow. Thus, manifestation. Subscribe and enter your manifesting state.